All right, hello and welcome. Tonight's workshop is on my relationship secrets. I'm not a therapist, I am a life and business coach, but the reason I want to share what we're talking about tonight is because I am obsessed with mindset and how we do one thing, we do everything. I'm going to bring your mindset full circle into how you show up in your romantic relationships specifically. However, these tips and tools are going to help you with networking, platonic relationships, shifting your mind, and just connecting to the best version of yourself. I currently live and have practiced all of these secrets that I'm going to share with you today. The reason I'm so passionate about talking about these things is because people do not talk about these tips. It is not common knowledge. So many people, when you talk about relationships, something happens and then your friends and your circle, they are not necessarily giving you advice that is helpful. So I hope that these secrets and ways to look at your relationship will really start to shift and transform how you show up and what your relationships look like. Because through practicing these tools, I went from being single to loving dating to finding an amazing relationship that evolved over time. And I'm going to be very vulnerable and transparent with you tonight. And now I'm living with my partner and I have a relationship that I've always dreamed of. So I'm not saying that this is what made the relationship happen, but this is what brought me peace and allowed me to cultivate the relationship that I now have. So let's get started. Okay. Now, here are some hard truths that I want to get onto the table and I want you to hear before we get started. I am a very blunt and straightforward coach and mentor. So here are some hard truths. Number one, you are currently the problem in your relationships, but you are also the solution. This means that your thoughts, your stories, and how you're showing up is causing problems in your relationship. It does not mean that maybe your partner isn't right for you, and that's okay, but you are currently part of the problem that is causing you stress. So if you have any stress or lack of peace and lack of clarity, you're the problem, but you are also the solution to bring yourself inner peace. And I hope that these tools will help you get there. Your relationships, platonic, romantic, all of your relationships outside of you are a direct reflection of what's going on in here. So if you're struggling with your friendships, your partner, it's a reflection of what's going on in here. Okay? They are a reflection, they are a mirror, everything is a lesson. And I'm going to give you some really juicy examples in tonight's workshop to help show that to you as well. Now, your relationships and the people that you date are also going to be your greatest teachers. Your romantic relationships specifically can be your fastest way to personal growth, self-development, and healing. I promise you, if you are single or in a relationship, actually pop in the Q&A if you are single or in a relationship, so I know who I'm talking to you live right now. But whether you're single or in a relationship, our romantic lives are the fastest way to healing and showing up as our highest selves. So I'm going to teach you the tools today are going to help you to continue to show up as your highest self, regardless of the relationship and your relationship status. And I also want to help you change the story of what's going on in your mind. Hard truth, I believe the way that we live relationships in our society is not healthy and does not necessarily support us long-term for our own happiness and our own well-being. And you'll see that tonight. All right, so today's agenda, we are going to go over a quick visualization. Then I'm going to go into my 4 relationship secrets. And I promise you, these things will change your life and the world around you if you practice them on a daily basis. These tools and techniques are not something that you can just know and will happen. You have to actually practice them daily and be hyper aware of your triggers and when you're not living by these truths, if these are truths that you want to subscribe to. And morning, I'm going to get very intimate. We're going to talk about sex. We're going to talk about what other people may consider embarrassing stories of mine. I'm going to share a lot of stories to really help you see how I implement these tools and how I have throughout my life. Okay, if you do not know who I am, I know a lot of you that are in this session right now, but if you do not know who I am, I want to thank you so much for trusting me and for being here today. My name is Vanessa Ortali. I am a business and life coach. And like I was speaking to many of you before this workshop started, yes, I'm a business and life coach. I am not a relationship coach. I'm not a therapist. However, I am obsessed with mindset, and I'm also obsessed with creating my own version of a relationship. And when I was younger, I didn't see a vision of the relationship I wanted to create. And I struggled a lot finding what that was and how to live that. And so I want to share with you everything that I practice, everything that I learned, because I do believe how we do one thing, we do everything. And things are definitely bleeding into your relationship that are bleeding into your business and vice versa. So I still do a lot of relationship coaching when I'm doing life coaching because heck, most of us are women that are watching this right now, and we can't necessarily compartmentalize things very well, nor do we really want to. We just show up who we are in every situation. And so I want to help you show up as your best self in every area of your life. And I really want you to feel good in the process, okay? I also want to give a little shout out to Abraham Hicks, because without Abraham Hicks, does anyone know who Abraham Hicks is? You can put it in the chat box. If not, I'll give you some resources. But really studying these practices that Abraham, Esther Hicks, they talk about, it honestly changed my life, and I wouldn't have the relationship I have today if it weren't for these tools and if it weren't for a lot of their lessons and teachings. All right, so we're going to do a quick visualization. I would love for you to close your eyes. Don't journal just yet, but I want you to close your eyes and I want you to take 3 deep breaths. I just want you to release your day and get very present into where you are in this moment. I want you to feel where your body is, and I want you to feel your breath just calming and going into each area of your body. And I want you to ask yourself one question. I want you to ask yourself, what does my ideal love life, romantic life, what does it look like and feel like? What does my ideal partner look like and feel like? And I want you to pay attention to what comes up for you. And I'm going to try to guide you through this, because a lot of times we see that checklist that we create in our minds. I want them to be this tall with this color hair and have these qualities, and that's great. But then I want you to go one step deeper, and I want you to really ask yourself, how does that feel? How does it make me feel when they are that physique? It makes me feel confident. It makes me feel loved. It makes me feel sexual and vibrant. Really connect to the feeling. So I want you to come back to your breath, and I'm going to stop speaking for a moment to allow you to truly visualize what you want your ideal partner to feel like and look like, and your romantic situation to feel like and look like. Do you want to feel loved? Do you want to feel wanted? Do you want to feel excited and full of adventure. And I want you to sit with that and visualize as much as you can. What are you and your partner doing together? How do you treat each other? How do you feel with one another and doing the activities you want to do? And I want you to take a deep breath. And I want you to quickly write down what you want your ideal partner to feel like and what you want your ideal relationship to feel like and look like. And quickly jot that down. I would love for you to come back to this. Put on some meditation music, go on YouTube, put on some meditation music, and just ask yourself, how do I want my ideal partner to feel and look like? What do I want my relationship to look like? And really sit with that. It is so important for you to connect to the feeling of what you want as we go through the next tools, because it'll make it a lot easier for you to connect to your highest self and connect to the feeling. How do you feel in a relationship and when you're with someone else? We're always going to come back to the feeling part, because how you feel is showing you so much about who you are and what we can continue to transform in order to help you to show up in the most meaningful and loving way. Feel free to pop in the chat box too what you want your ideal partner or your ideal relationship to feel like and look like. Okay, great. So good. This is awesome. Okay, so we are moving on. I have all these things up on my computer. I can't even see you. Okay, here we go. Now, here is our first tip for relationships. Focus on your own alignment. What the heck does that mean? Above all else, I care about how you feel at all points in time. So I want you to ask yourself, how do I feel right now in my relationship? Have you lost yourself? Do you feel confident? Do you feel empowered? Do you feel excited? Do you feel at peace? Do you feel full of love, full of life? How do you feel? Do you notice we're coming up with those feeling questions again? You'll see everything connects very nicely. But I really care about how you feel. And this is going to be really important. And I'm going to show you throughout these different examples, because I want you to get really honest and ask yourself, whether you're single or in a relationship, is your external environment, whether you're dating someone long-term or it's a first date, is your external environment and people you're interacting with, are they impacting how you feel about yourself, your happiness level, your peace, and how you show up? If you've ever read the book, The Untethered Soul by Michael Singer, he talks about how often we're always opening and closing our heart depending on our environment. And it's exhausting. So I want you to feel at your best and feel good no matter who you are interacting with, not for them, but for you. And again, you'll start to see this is why these types of conversations aren't common, because people are going to tell you, oh, if he did that, if she did that, he doesn't deserve you, or he doesn't deserve that, or she doesn't deserve that. Stop changing who you are because of how somebody else shows up. You have no control of how somebody else shows up. So I want you to get really clear on who is your ideal self. Your next action step, I want you to write this down. Who is my ideal self? What does she look like? How does she act? And also honor that it's okay for your highest self to evolve and change. And then I want you to get really clear, and I want you to know what brings you into your highest self. What brings you into alignment? And this is really important because I do not, under any circumstances, want you to be making decisions about your relationships if you are not in alignment. And I will show you how I practice this while dating and currently now in my relationships. So it is so important. This is your reminder to focus on you and pay attention to how you are feeling. Your feelings are showing you what's going on inside, whether it's your own thoughts and limitations and stories that need to be shifted and transformed, or if your body's actually telling you to take action and you're not. So make sure you know who is your highest self, how do you get yourself into alignment, and make sure throughout your week, throughout your day, you find time to have you time, to take yourself out on a me date, to journal, to create routines. I want you to find so much happiness and so much peace. You will not find peace and happiness through a relationship. You need to find your peace and happiness now, and then the relationship will follow. It's not reversed. And so if you're looking for happiness in your relationships, in your partners, in your dates now, it will not necessarily last, and it might be a little bit more painful. Doesn't mean it is going to be wrong, because nothing is ever wrong. This is your journey. But I hope these tips will help you get there. And I'm going to also show you that if you are looking for happiness in someone else, how to shift that. That'll be one of my next steps as well. Okay, so don't feel bad. We're all there at different points in time. And again, every relationship is showing us how to level up and connect to our highest self. One other tip that I would love for you to start to be aware of is when you are triggered and you're not in alignment, how to communicate that with somebody around you, whether you're on a date, whether it's with your partner. If you are not in alignment, have communication that allows you to take a step back and find your alignment. Whether you're on a date and they say something that triggers you, take a deep breath and go to the washroom. Pull yourself away. I want you to be acting out of alignment and not out of fear, anger, aggression. Make sense? Okay, I'm going to get into some really fun examples now. Now, here's 2 points I want to address before I go into the examples of how I continue to do this in my life. We are very good at justifying why we should be mad and why the other person is wrong. Once we start taking away this right or wrong, I don't care. I really don't care who's right. I just care about how you feel. There is no reason why you should be mad. And that is just toxic for you, right? It's like drinking poison and then wanting it to kill the other person. Don't do this to you. Ground rules right here. Focus on your own alignment. I do not want you to feel bad throughout your relationships. Always come back to your alignment. Always come back to self. This is not about the other person. This is all about you. Doesn't matter what they did. Nobody has the right to take away your inner peace and your joy and your love. Right? Hallelujah. Okay. So here we go. Real life examples where we give away our happiness, our alignment, our peace. You're waiting for that text message or that phone call from a person, and you're thinking it actually changes your state of being, right? You're waiting, you start doubting yourself, you start questioning, it just starts shifting your state of being. So the biggest takeaway from that first lesson of finding your alignment is really paying attention to your emotions and noticing when you're not in alignment. So one example, like I'm just saying, is waiting for a text message and noticing that your alignment is shifting. So what did I do when I was dating, and even now my relationships? When you are waiting for communication from someone or feeling frustrated I take a deep breath and I ask myself, what would make me feel great right now? Well, it would make me feel great if I got that message, if I got that phone call. Great. I'm going to pretend that I just did. And I would literally sit there and pretend out loud that I just got that text message I had been waiting for, or just got that phone call. And I'd read it out loud and I'd say, oh, I had a great day. Thank you so much for asking. Oh, you had an amazing time with me. So did I. I really enjoyed meeting you. And then you start to feel your energy shift. The point about relationships is owning your emotions and stop giving power away to somebody else. You got this. You have control over your emotions and how you show up. The next example, real life example, is deciding whether or not you want to see someone again, right? Whether you're dating and you go on a date and then you're in your mind and you're thinking, oh, am I going to see them again? Or they do something and you're thinking, that's it, this is over. I hope you're laughing when I'm saying these because you can picture yourself doing the same thing. I would go on dates and I would think, that's it. I don't think I'm ever going to see them again. Or, oh, he was just such a jerk last night. Next time he messages me, I'm going to say blah, 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 blah. And I'm going to say no. Stop. You are not in alignment when you are making those decisions. How you practice finding your alignment and putting your alignment first is stop the pre-planning. Trust yourself. Start trusting yourself that you can make a decision. Honor yourself and honor, I'm just going to find my alignment. And when I'm in alignment, I'm going to know what to do. It's going to be choiceless. And I will tell you, my current boyfriend, when we first started dating, so many red flags. And it was really difficult in my mind to say, oh, I'm never going to see him again. How dare he do that? But that's all ego. That was all coming from my fear. So I would find my alignment and say, you know what? I do not care. I'm going to find my alignment. I'm going to feel good. And if he messages me again and I want to see him from alignment, not fear or insecurity, I'll do it. And if he messages me and I don't want to see him from alignment, I won't. And if he messages me and I am not in alignment, I do not make a decision. And this allowed me to consistently be present, to consistently show up as my highest self, and to consistently connect to myself and the world to do what is right for me. Stop letting your friends, your family, society tell you what needs to be done. I am here to tell you to continue to connect to you. Only you know what is right for you. And I'm not saying this from a toxic relationship place. If you are not at your best self and are living in fear and convincing yourself you're in alignment, then you need a coach and you need people around you that are going to get you straight. But if you're always making decisions from alignment, have confidence in that and know they are your lessons to learn. This is your life to live. I want you to find your peace and happiness. And then the last example of finding your own alignment, I was in Bahamas and my boyfriend looked at another woman, right? Okay. And pay attention to how you feel about that example, because right away people are like, oh, girl, just go get someone who doesn't look at a woman. Or, oh, like, how dare he? Guys are so disgusting, like, whatever. These are the types of conversations that oftentimes we will have with one another. And I say, no, stop. I'm going to pull myself away. So I walked away because I noticed I was triggered. I walked away and I said, okay, I'm not in alignment right now. I am not in alignment right now because I am allowing this current situation to change how I feel about myself. I will never let someone else change how I feel about myself. And then I sat back and thought, okay, if I'm in alignment and I am my highest self, how would she feel and be in this situation? Well, truth is, she wouldn't give a shit because she is so confident in who she is. She knows anyone is lucky to be with her. And that's my highest self. So connect to your highest self and know, how would you show up in that situation, and connect to you, because no one can take away your power but you. Okay, that is the first big secret, our first big topic, connecting to your own alignment. Is this resonating with you guys? Type it in the Q&A and let me know this is resonating with you and what your biggest takeaway is from that. Because I really hope that these examples will help you to connect to how to live these principles. One thing I didn't mention, which is on this slide, is why boundaries might steer you wrong. So often we're creating boundaries of what we can and cannot do. When we're creating these boundaries of what we can and cannot do, you are giving your power away. Trust yourself, find your alignment, and know that when you're in alignment, you will make the right decision. I promise you. You don't need those boundaries keeping you blocked into your current beliefs, because it's preventing your growth. It's preventing you from tuning in. It's like guardrails on a bowling lane. They can be good if you aren't in the place where you have full control and you're not necessarily connected and not necessarily confident. Well, once you build that connection and build your confidence, you don't need those boundaries. You need to tune in and turn in. Okay, I'm seeing lots of comments. Great. I'm so happy these are resonating with you. I hope they're giving you a good laugh. I got lots more. Are we ready? Okay, the next secret, let me just have a quick sip, is to focus on the vortex version of the partner or the person that you are currently with, whether it's a date or a serious relationship. What does that mean? Vortex version, this is from Abraham Hicks, but is just the highest self. I want you to tune into the highest self for you. And I also want you to see the highest self in that other person. Now, with this tool, I often get the question, well, what the heck, Vanessa? What is the difference between falling in love with someone for their potential versus seeing them for their best, right? Are you thinking this? Okay. The answer is, it is a vibrational experience. When you are your highest self and you are lifting the other person up and seeing them for their soul, seeing them for the love and the truth that they are, you are not letting someone walk all over you. You are not letting someone mistreat you because you're in your highest self. What you're doing is you're standing up here and allowing them to rise to you. You're not coming down to get them and pulling them up. You're up here. You're living your best life. You're living your highest self. And you're seeing them for the beautiful human that they are. And you're allowing them to take the steps themselves. This space, when you're living your highest self and they're not, can be very uncomfortable, especially if you're in a marriage or in a long-term relationship. But let me tell you, I did this many times with my boyfriend, especially in the beginning of our relationship, where I just said, you know what? I'm going to live high. I don't care who you are, what you choose to be. I'm going to see you for the truth of who you are. And I'm going to let you come to me way up here. And if you choose to come to me, great. And if you don't and you leave, that's okay too. See this person for the loving, amazing person that they are. It might be useful for you, write this down, to go home, you're already home, but after this workshop, to write out a love letter to your partner, to a date, to anyone. I don't care if you've met them once, and see them for the amazing person that they are, not the fear and the insecurities that they've projected at you. See them at their core. And this is when we start to really see the connection of who we are on this planet and the connection with one another. This is when you start to find happiness. This is when you start to live in love. This is when you start to live as your highest self. When you release the judgment of the other person and you release the expectation of them needing to be a certain way, because you're just living you. You don't care if it comes from them or if it comes from somebody else, because you're living you. And that's exactly what I would say. I would just live my highest self. I would see him as his highest self, and I would say, that's okay. I'm up here, and my ideal man is going to act. He is going to bring me flowers, and he is going to love me, and he's going to roll over and just tell me every morning how beautiful I am. And let me tell you, I'm going to throw in an example right now. When I was first with my boyfriend in the early stages, I remember lying in bed with him and feeling like he was cold in the morning. And I remember lying there and thinking, that's okay. I'm going to get into the vibration that my man just told me I am a beautiful woman. And I literally laid there until I felt that but I didn't care if it was him, that my man, whether it was him or not, my man, he's going to roll over and he's going to tell me I am so beautiful and that he's so lucky to be with me every morning and give me a big kiss. And I didn't open my eyes until I felt like it had just happened. And let me tell you, a couple weeks later, he started doing that because I rose the bar. Raise the bar, start living as your highest self, and see if they come, see if they follow you. Again, that space can be uncomfortable, but it's that space that allows them to make the decision of who they are, and you stop forcing them to get there. So either they'll step up or they'll leave. And that's also something that's uncomfortable for people, and why a lot of people don't talk about it, because people will say, oh, kick him out, or he's not right for you, she's not right for you. I don't care. The world, the universe, whatever you want to call it, God, they'll take them out if they're not ready. This is a vibrational experience where I want you to show up as your highest self and let the world do the rest. You don't have to make all of these decisions. Just show up as your best self, and everything is going to continue to fall into place. I thought I had broken up with my partner like 10 times because I'm like, forget it. This isn't for me anymore. I'm good, but I'm going to live as my highest self. And you know what? He kept rising and rising. And I had said the whole time, I didn't think he was ever going to be the person that he's shown up to be today, but I didn't care. I didn't care if it was him or I didn't care if it was from somewhere else. I just continued to show up as my highest self. And then I was pleasantly surprised. So here are a couple additional examples. When you're seeing them as your highest self, you're also living in your highest self. So we were getting ready to go on vacation, and my boyfriend decided that he wanted to go golfing. I mean, there was no time for both. He hadn't even packed yet. And he's running around the house like a madman. And he comes downstairs. He's like, I have to get ready. I have to go. And I'm like, just sitting there, seeing him as his highest self, and just thinking, you know what? He's smart. He's going to make the best decision. I know it's all going to be okay. And he's a grown man. My ideal man, he's going to make the right decision for him. He's going to find his highest self. He came back up maybe 20 minutes later saying, I decided I'm not going golfing. I was like, oh, that's great. And he says, why didn't you tell me not to go? You knew that was a stupid idea. I said, I knew you'd make the right decision for you. And that was it. No fight, no conversation. I just kept showing up as my highest self and seeing him for his. Same thing, taking out the garbage. And you'll see here again, it's okay because my ideal man will. And it's not that you're shaming them. You're just getting into vibration that it happened the way that you wanted to see it in your life, right? It's kind of cool, really powerful. I love this. Okay, again, pop in the chat box. Let me know if this is resonating with you and if you can see yourself in these examples, because this is why I'm here. I'm here to teach you all I know and help you with your relationships, because I'm telling you, this work has brought so much peace and love into my life. All right, third step. This is only 2 more. So third step, I need you to give yourself everything that you're looking for from the other person. So your homework, oh, I hate that word homework. It reminds me of school. Your action step from this, I need you to write down, pick a person, whether it was someone you went on a date with or your current partner. And I want you to ask yourself, what do you want from them? What do you want from them? Do you want them to respect you? Do you want them to love you? Do you want to feel seen? Write it down. And then I need you to be really honest and ask yourself, am I giving that to myself right now? How can I give myself that? And you will see, I'm going to get real vulnerable in my example. It comes right back to this. Everything is a reflection of us, our wounds, our experiences, our drama, our trauma, but we want to stop the drama and trauma. And this is how. Looking at our expectations on others and really just turning them around and putting them back on ourselves. And I'm going to show you how. I want you to be a complete person, so that it allows the other person to show up as a complete person, and you're not looking for them to fulfill your insecurities, your fears, because so often in relationships, it's just fears against fears, and it goes like this. We need to flip that script, and I need you to show up as your highest self. When you're showing up as your highest self, the fears just bounce off, and they don't get a reaction. Then you don't end up in a battle. Stop the war, stop the drama. But you have to address your trauma first. And this is how you're going to be able to do that, by really asking you, what do you want from them? And start giving it to yourself. Relationships are a reflection of your relationship between you and you. They are your fastest way to self-discovery. It is about mating with your own soul. It's triggering you for a reason. What you want from them is triggering you for a reason. So let's heal that so you can move on. All right. This is going to be real life examples. Okay. So once went on a date with this guy, and I met him at a hotel in Toronto, and he was from New York. And so he would travel back and forth. And I remember we were dating for a while, and we finally had sex. Okay. And I rolled over, and his colleague was standing there naked. Okay, this is a real story. And you might be thinking, holy shit, are you serious? And I tell this for the drama and to share with you, like, it has to be extreme sometimes for us to really get it. And I just was like, you know what? This is not my thing. Got dressed and walked home. And I walked because I needed to clear my head. And I remember being pretty upset about it. And I want you to picture, if I had just called a friend, they'd have been like, oh my God, I can't believe he did that. What an asshole. And blah, blah, blah. Men are such scum. Like, stop. No, did not pick up the phone. And I sat there and asked myself, what did I want from him? Why am I so angry? I'm angry because it's disgusting. And it took me a while to get to the root because I was upset, right? And I wanted him to protect me. Like, I'm on a date with this guy. I trusted him. And then he did that, and he gave an extra key to his colleague. Like, I felt violated. And I felt, he was supposed to be there to protect me. And I said, okay, I'm wanting someone else in this moment to keep me safe. For 2 weeks, I had the mantra, I am safe. I would put my left hand on my heart, right hand on my belly. And I just would say to myself, I am fully taken care of. I am completely safe. I love myself. I got you. I am here for you. I got you. I'm protecting you. I got you. I got you. I got you. You are safe. You are taken care of. And I, in that moment, realized that I was looking for a guy to take care of me, to protect me. I wasn't fully complete within myself, that I felt taken care of by myself. And I wasn't my own best friend. I didn't have my back. And that experience, I can say this experience to you without zero emotion about it, because at this point it's funny. And I am so grateful because when I started going through all of this relationship stuff, I threw up my hands and said, you know what? I don't know what I want anymore. Bring me everyone I need in order to help me to show up as my highest self. If that's what I needed to show up as my highest self, to realize I got me, oh, I'm so grateful. I don't even remember his name anymore. I don't even care. And I share that example because it brings up a reaction in so many people, and they can see, what would I do if I was in that situation? Stop. No phone calls. Turn within. Stop asking other people for permission. Stop asking others for their situation. Stop entangling in the drama. Tune in. How is this impacting me? How am I feeling? And how can I get my own back right now? How can I be my own biggest cheerleader? How can I support me, build me up, build that foundation that I need to show up as my highest self? So good. I promise you, this is life-changing, and you can do this with any relationship. Why are they pissing me off? What do I want from them? How can I give it to myself? They're pissing me off because they're not authentic, because they're fake, because they're cheap. Great. How can I be more real with myself? How can I love myself? How can I treat myself? Same thing here. Oh, I want them to take me out on a date. I want them. Stop. Take yourself out on a date. Make yourself feel special. Love yourself. Stop looking for others to fulfill those areas of your life. And ask yourself, oh, I made a spelling error. What is this here to show me? H-E-R-E, not H-E-A-R. What is this here to show me? What did this bring up in me? Are you loving this? I hope that these vulnerable examples are relatable. Not that it necessarily happened to you in the same way, but you can bring yourself back into your life. You're not a victim. It's here to show you. It's here to make you better. It's here to make you stronger. It's here to bring you back to love, bring you back to light, and show you who you truly are and show you what you're made of. Truly. I truly, truly believe that. I can't even see your face right now. And I know with all of my heart that you all were here to love and be light and be joy. So I want you to start allowing the joy, the love, the freedom, the wealth, the abundance that is out there, just ready for you to grab. You are already connected to everything you could ever want. So stop getting in your own way by living in the drama and the trauma. Okay. All right. We are almost done. One more example and then we're closing up. So we're good on time. So this last piece of the tools and secrets is surrender. And we've touched on this a little bit when I talked about stop being attached to the outcome. Stop being attached to what's going to happen with you two. Is this the man or woman of your dreams? Should I go on another date? What's going to happen? Come back to the present. Start trusting yourself again. Find your alignment. Make decisions from alignment. And just live life. Stop living in your head. Just stop. Stop planning that text message, stop planning and thinking ahead of the questions and what you're going to say next time and doing this. Find your alignment and then act from alignment, speak from alignment. It isn't going to be easy in the beginning and you're going to mess up and that's okay. But you don't need to text message all your girlfriends or boyfriends to see what you're going to say to them. You don't need to. Find your alignment, find your heart. You know, how often I remember planning my text messages too, and then never end up needing them, right? It was such a waste of time. I truly want you to focus on what are you spending most of your time thinking about. Half of those things never happen. Half of those things never come true. Focus on your mind and focus on what you want to see more of. Love, light, freedom, joy, happiness. Focus on that. And I know relationships can be painful. but they can also be so beautiful. And on the other side, you start to see the world differently and you start to live in a new world. Let go of the stories. Think about what stories you're currently telling yourself. All men are this, all women are this, I always do this. No, stop. Like, just stop. Release the past and do whatever you need to do to release the past. Therapy, coaching, whatever. Release it so you can truly just let go of the baggage and come back to who you really are. Because I know that if you start trusting yourself and you start tuning into you, you will just be so full of love and light, and everything will unfold in perfection. I wake up every day and I just wonder, like, what the hell? How did I get this relationship and this life? And then I say, oh, heck, I actually worked really hard for it, but I didn't need to, right? I almost have this love-hate relationship with working hard because we don't need to work hard. I created my own struggles. I struggled a lot, let me tell you. Depression and anxiety and tears, endless tears. I struggled a lot until I decided not to struggle anymore. And it was still a struggle as I healed my wounds and started to shift my thought patterns and shift and transform how I showed up. Once I connected to her, let me tell you, that's where I found inner peace. And my life goal is inner peace, regardless of what I'm doing in a relationship or single. But you have to connect to your highest self to feel that and know your alignment. See the other person for the love that they are and release, surrender. There's also that surrender we talked about. When you are rising to your highest self, there's a surrender of, well, I don't know what's going to happen here. I know I'm going to get it because I'm going to vibrationally meet everything I need, but I'm okay if it comes from this person or somebody else. Release the expectation of where your needs are met by and who or what your partner is, even if you're with someone. I still, even though I've now been with my partner for years, I'm okay if we get to the point where it's not working and we're both in our highest selves and we just choose different lives, and that's okay. Nobody owns you. You don't own anybody. Life is a vibrational experience, and it's just so beautiful. So connect to your purpose of what you want relationships to serve in your life. Do you want them to be a reflection? Ask the universe, right? Like, just ask, bring me who I need to show me what I need. You are the creator of your life. You've put everybody there, right? Well, imagine that. Let me say that again. If you are the creator of your life and you've put everyone there, why did you put them there? What are they here to show you? So set yourself straight, release the pressure, and really connect to the purpose of what relationships serve. Relationships are a reflection of my relationship with me. They're a reflection of how I can connect to my highest self. And they are an opportunity to be a vessel of light and love and joy on this earth. Relationships are an opportunity for joy and love. Am I being that? So ask yourself and write this down. What is my purpose? What am I looking for from relationships? And how can I be more of that every day? And this is coming back to our first point of finding your alignment, turning within instead of looking outside yourself. Okay, some of these I've already kind of mentioned, but planning what you're going to say and what you're going to do, we release it. Deciding where this relationship is going and will I see this person again, release it. Allow it to be choiceless. You don't have to make decisions because trust me, they'll rise or they'll leave if you find your alignment. Okay, so here's a couple bonus things that I have mentioned most of these throughout, but just a reminder to come back to. Pay attention to your story and don't get entangled in the trauma, pain, insecurities, and drama that your mind and your past habits are creating. Number 2, be careful who you surround yourself with. I mentioned this before. So often I actually stopped talking about relationships with my friends because of this. I knew that the advice and the energy they were giving me was a projection of their own beliefs and their own experiences. Because then I didn't want them telling me, oh, I can't believe that, or you shouldn't see him again, and you should blah, 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 blah. Stop. I need you to connect to you, because you're the only one creating your life. That's it. So pay attention to who you're listening to, who you're talking to, and what they're projecting onto you and the energy they're giving you. Because if you commit to these and these tools resonate with you, it's going to take a commitment, and you might not be able to talk a lot about them with other people until you start to create and surround yourself with like-minded people that believe similar things, and you just become more confident in living these principles that you don't even need to talk about them. And the last bonus, which I also mentioned, is you're now creating a new world and a new story of what relationships need to look like. I truly, when I was single, did not see examples of relationships I wanted. There was so much insecurity and just the stories. And I remember my friends calling me and saying they were married and they still would say, all men are crap, or they're so lazy. Like, those aren't stories I want. Like, that sounds like it's miserable. I don't want a relationship like that. I didn't see any relationships that I could think, oh, that's beautiful, right? So create your own, but you create it from your highest self, and then just start going from there. And so I want you to quickly write down, and you can type it in the chat box as well. We're going to head into Q&A, but I want to know, what is your biggest takeaway from this workshop? What really hit home? What are you going to take away from this? And a couple other questions to ask yourself. So write these down, because it's no use coming to these workshops, listening to these workshops, if you're not going to do anything and you're just going to absorb. Because like I said in the beginning of this presentation, you can't just know these concepts. You have to live, breathe them, and be them every day. So set up some action steps that you're going to take. Create some daily routines to support what you're taking away from this. If you didn't like any of the tools, that's okay too. Like, I want you to figure out what's right for you. If you took nothing from this, figure out what's right to you and for you, and tune in. And then third, I want you to ask yourself, how am I going to keep myself accountable to these tools? Am I going to find somebody else who has a similar belief or has similar goals? Am I going to find myself a therapist, a coach? If you want to reach out to me, I'm happy to support you. Make sure you have the support system to keep you in alignment with your goals and your takeaways from this workshop, especially if relationships are a priority in your life right now. And if you weren't on this relationship, or if you weren't on this workshop, then I would say they probably aren't, but you're here. So I know relationships are a priority to you right now. And here are a couple additional resources that you might love. So Gary Zukov wrote a book called Spiritual Partnerships, which is beautiful. Feel free to take a picture of this. Don Miguel Ruiz wrote The 4 Agreements, but he also wrote The Mastery of Love. Marianne Williamson, she wrote A Return to Love, which is just so beautiful. And I mentioned Abraham Hicks before. You can go onto YouTube, just type in Abraham Hicks relationships and see what she pops out. And or there's a lot of books that Esther and Jerry Hicks wrote under the name Abraham Hicks. So if you have any questions about these resources, let me know. And I'm always here for you. I'm always trying to provide tons of information. So you can follow me on Instagram, send me a DM, send me a note. I love hearing from you. I love when you tag me and you let me know how these workshops are and what you're taking from these workshops. So my Instagram is I am Vanessa O. This is my email. If you want to also let me know what you're taking away from this, it's so special for me. I am vanessao@gmail.com. And for being on this session, I always offer a free one-on-one coaching call to people that take the time to come onto these sessions, because I truly want to help you And I know that this is important to you and you want to see change. So feel free to either email me or send me a DM on Instagram and just write the word relationships. And then I'll know that you were on this session and I'll send you a link to book a free call with me. And I can't wait to help you and support you further on your relationship journey. I thank you so much for taking this time to be here. And we're going to hop into Q&A, but I'm going to turn off the record for our recording. So thank you again for being here.